Hello, everyone. Here we are today recording on International Podcast Day. International Podcast Day is about the power of podcasts, where listeners and podcasters celebrate and enjoy the different stories from around the world. If you love podcasts, be sure to use the hashtag International Podcast Day and share what podcast you're listening to and join the conversation. As you know, Driver Stories is a newer podcast about sharing drivers' experiences over their years of trucking. So for today, we have with us two team drivers who have plenty of stories up their sleeves. With that, let's take it away. So today we have Jerry and Becky. You guys have been with LGT since 2017?
Something like almost 4 years.
Almost 4 years now, yeah. And you're company drivers.
Yep.
And so I guess my first question is, when did you guys start driving?
When Moby Dick was a minnow.
Well, okay, what year was that?
I have been doing this since 1987.
1987.
Yeah.
And how did you learn how to drive?
I was driving before I could have a license in these things. I grew up around them.
Okay.
And have always been around them. I drove my first one at about the age of 11.
Did you live on a farm?
No.
Okay.
We was on the interstate when I got my first experience with it. And
who taught you how to drive?
My uncle, my dad.
And they were truck drivers?
My dad just worked local stuff, but my uncle ran over the road, done produce, cattle, you name it, he done it.
And so he just threw you in the truck and...
Yeah, I went with him and he said, well, I guess you're going to have to learn how to drive someday. And down the road we went with a load of cows on it. It's quite fun. It was interesting.
And so did you know then you wanted to be a truck driver?
Not really, but I just, I grew up around. I've worked on them around the shop and stuff there when they'd have them in there and stuff. I think I rebuilt my first Cat engine at like 15 and was in on that deal. And that was a lot of fun. I didn't know if I wanted to be a mechanic or drive, but the driving part seemed a lot easier.
So is that what you started out doing, was driving a truck, or did you start doing something else first?
I actually drove a local delivery truck when I was 19, delivering mobile home parts in a straight truck.
Okay.
So I've been doing it for a while.
Yeah. Well, we won't ask how old you are today.
25 and holding.
Yeah. So Becky, how did you get started in truck driving?
Truck driving school.
Yeah?
Yeah, I went to school there in Northeast Texas Community College and been doing it ever since.
Yeah, how old were you then?
Oh, I don't know. I can tell you how long I was. Yeah, that was in 95.
Okay. Was that your first career or second career? Third
Fifth
career,
or
fourth?
Sixth. Motherhood was basically my first.
Okay.
First and best, And then, but when you're divorced with 3 kids, you have to find a way to support them. And truck drivers make a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
So, there you go.
So they say, right?
That's what they say, but they lie at first. At first, you make like 8 cents a mile or whatever and work your way up. Nobody ever told me that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you start driving before or after you met Jerry?
Before.
Okay. So you have 3 small kids at home and
Yes.
you're driving a truck over the road?
Well, my oldest had graduated by that time.
Okay.
So I had 2 at home and they stayed with my mother and I gave her the child support checks. Jerry and I helped her out if the air conditioner went down or whatever, so she didn't have to use that money for repairs. So
Okay.
we did that, and Roto-Rooter, air conditioner, plumbing, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So when did you meet Jerry?
97.
97.
97, it was almost Valentine's. Met him in Perrysburg.
Yep, Perrysburg,
Toledo,
Uh-huh.
Ohio.
How'd you guys meet?
I'll let her tell that one.
It's a long story.
We got time.
We were at the Petro, different trucks, and I had the CB on. I had gotten loaded and went down there and skipped my dirty laundry together to go do my laundry because I had a little time. And there was somebody on the CB trying to get one of the women out there. I will pay you to come do my laundry. And And isn't there any woman out there that wants to come do my laundry? And finally, I had this attitude. Not that he didn't, but I thought, why would we come out on the road, stop at a truck stop just to go do some man's laundry? You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I piped up on the CB, and I'm like, go do your own laundry. And he would get me to answer, and I didn't know he was watching the trucks to see which one I was in. And he's like, oh, there you are. And I'm like, oh, geez, they can see me. So I finally told him, get your laundry together, bring it in. I will show you how to do laundry so you can do your own from here on in. And he crammed everything in the washer together. And he had red in there. So he come out with pink socks and pink whitey tighties, but they were pink by that point. And everything that was white was now pink. Yes. So he asked me out that night. There was a place up the road that had a small bar in it, and and the rest is history.
Wow.
So
did you guys start driving together right away?
Oh, God.
A month or two later.
Yeah, I think it was 2 or 3 months later. That night that we met at the truck stop, like she said, it was close to Valentine's Day. And this poor old gal at the fuel island, I had to go down there and get some money to go to the bar. And they had these big boxes of chocolates. And this lady says, well, you need to buy your wife a box of chocolates. And I said, she ain't my wife. And I said, I wouldn't spend the money to buy her a box of chocolates, And this lady looks at me kind of funny.
She kept trying to make you
She just kept trying to get me to buy this box of chocolates. So I ended up buying them. And then she started calling me about it every day. And then I was dumb enough, and I drove down. One weekend I was off, and I drove all the way down to Texas where she was at, and was down there, and her mother caught wind of it. Man, oh man, was that a day. Her mother,
mothers get defensive.
Her mother, I think, called me everything but child of God. And after that, me and her mom got along great. And then we ended up started running together, and everything been running together ever since. Saved my soul.
Well, you must like her then.
Actually, the first time when he did come down to Texas, he went out on the truck with me. I had to make a run. And he wound up getting sick. But every time he poked his head out the window, out the curtains, I was where I was supposed to be. So he thought, well, she was a pretty good runner,
Mm-hmm.
So, or he wouldn't have invited me to help run teams with him. You know how men are. So,
we have run everywhere.
So who did you start running for this team? The same company as you,
No,
or what'd you
no.
guys decide?
When we started running team together, I was working for a guy out of Kansas City, Carol Ball, which he was an old outlaw, and he got into some trouble with DOT, and they pretty well shut his doors. And then we went to, trying to remember where we did go to.
Well, I was with Gainey, and I quit Gainey and went to Carol Ball with
I
him.
know where we went. We went to working for RNC for Larry, because Chuck went down
I
there.
thought Crystal was first.
Well, that was RNC. Dave,
Oh,
Crystal, Larry. But one of the dispatchers from Carol Ball went down there, and he called me and wanted me to come to work. So we did. We drove for them for, I don't know, several years. And then they more or less kind of got away from team stuff. And we went to work for Giltner out of Idaho, and we worked for them
13 and a half years.
13 and a half years.
Wow.
And
As company drivers?
no, we was owner-operator there.
About a half a year was company,
Yeah, about a
and
half
then
a
we
year.
went to owner-op for 13.
Owner-op for 13
Wow, no
there.
kidding. Did you buy your own truck?
Yep. We went through several
We went
trucks
through a
there.
couple of them.
Did you buy it from him, or you bought it?
Yep,
You did?
Yep, we done the
Okay.
lease purchase
Lease
deal.
purchase. Yeah.
And then they started doing a bunch of changing around, and we ended up going to work for New Way and running acetylene out of Taft, Louisiana.
That's right.
We was there 4 years,
Almost 5.
and then there was a driver that was here with LGT that taught me into coming over, and he actually started in on me a year and a half before we finally come over here. And I just wasn't real skeptical about following him, because he's the one that got me on at New Way. 6 months after I went to work at New Way,
And he quit.
he quit, got fired, whatever you want to call it. And so we've been here ever since.
And you're company drivers now?
Company drivers now.
And you went back to company drivers at New Way?
Yep.
And what made you decide to become company drivers again?
I just got tired of the owner-operator stuff, and
I got tired of the paperwork at tax time.
yeah,
Because I saved everything, every receipt, every bill, every stitch.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he was
And-
bought McDonald's.
And
He
at
kept
tax time, I would have to literally take a week to 10 days off and drag my daughter over there. And we would go through the taxes month by month and add everything up, and then add a big total of everything. And it was quite the chore.
Yeah.
Plus,
It was.
plus owner-operator insurance was getting ridiculous. And we went to work down there because they had medical insurance. And it was a good thing we did, because 6 months after we got down there, I had to have open heart surgery. And I was down,
Wow.
4 months, 5 months with that. Becky still run the truck,
I
even
was
though
still
I was
running.
sitting at home
Huh.
holding down a recliner,
Yep.
So just stayed doing it.
Hmm.
I'm still doing it today.
So 27 years. Is that right?
Yes.
You've been running team together.
Yeah.
25. We've
25.
been running
Team
Through
team.
thick
together.
and thin.
Uh-huh.
Through
There's,
thick
there's
and
been
thin.
some thin in there. There really has.
We was
What's the best thing about running team?
Getting to go to bed and still waking up in a different area when you do get up. So you're not having to drive all of it. So, and sometimes it's not split up evenly, because you have drops and hooks and this and that and backups and what all. But for the most part, you're going to be in a different area, a different state when you get up,
Yeah.
And you still couldn't pay for it. So, right along with. But he gets to go to bed every night.
Yeah, that's the nice part. I get to go to bed every night. Get up every
I
morning.
do the night driving, so he gets to wake up every morning to a brand new day and a brand new area, and hopefully no deer.
Hopefully no deer.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
No four-legged kind either.
If we was taking a tally, she has hit more deer than I have. I have none. She's got probably 12 or 15.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Over the 25.
Yeah.
She hit. We was coming through Soldier Summit out in Utah, and she hit 3 in one shot that night. I got to the yard in Idaho, fixed the truck right there, had new quarter fenders put on, and what else was there? Anyway, got it all fixed up, went out 2 nights later, hits 2 more.
In the same area?
In the same area, took out the same stuff we had just fixed.
Hit in the exact same spot, the same area. It's like karma or kismet or
isn't that crazy?
Jinx.
Yeah.
You know?
And she gives terrible wake up calls. We had one. We was on Highway 93.
93.
South of, between Wells, Nevada, and Ely, Nevada. There's nothing out there. It's the desert. Nothing. No phone service. No nothing. And there had been a big storm come out. It washed the mud, the silt, and all this out on the road. And it's dark. You can't see nothing. And she hit that, laid the truck over.
I hit that doing
at
75 miles an hour with the cruise on. And it was like being on marbles.
And it was one hell of a way to wake up in the morning. And we had our dogs with us. And one dog, we couldn't find him. Could not find this dog. I knew my dog was gone. Couldn't find him. And all of a sudden, he pops his head up over the backside of the mattress. Is this over with, Dad? We're ready to go now. And so we spent 12 hours sitting out in that hot desert while they unloaded the trailer, rolled it back over.
He never barked or whined. He just looked up like,
but
oh my God, are we done now?
It was not her fault on it. The state trooper, he even assured, it was just like, you might as well took a tanker load of grease out there and dumped on the road. That's just what it was like. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, her wake-up calls stink.
Yes.
So what is your favorite part about running team?
God, there ain't none. I got to listen to her every day. Oh, I mean, you got somebody to talk to once in a while. It don't take away from the family time, because whenever she wants to start raising heck with me, I don't have to go nowhere. It's right there with me, but she does her part. She does all right. It lets me have one of these, if I don't want to do nothing, moments she can keep driving, I can just stay right there and sleep a little longer, watch TV.
Yeah. She
hates me watching TV because without that TV, you can't sleep. Well, I sleep great without the TV, but she would sit there and she started hollering. She said, I've heard that movie about 3 times already over the night.
He would have the TV on repeat. So, 2 hours of a movie. Mm-hmm. Because I could hear it from driving.
Just start all over the way we go again.
And it would rewind itself, start all over again. 3 times I heard this movie. It's like, okay, put a fork in me. I am done. Cut it off, please.
Doesn't bother me a bit.
So that sounds like the worst part about running team.
Yeah, well,
it's an itty bitty living space, right?
It is. It's like living. It's like taking a 4-foot cardboard box. And I mean, over the time we put her daughter and son-in-law through truck driving school.
Okay.
And trained them. And that was a challenge. She couldn't get nothing through to her daughter on how to do nothing. So I just figured, if you're going to learn it, you're going to learn it. So I'd find the worst place there was and there you go, back in that hole over there, back into that dock. Oh, I can't. You're going to do it. You're going to drive a truck. You're going to do it. I had her daughter driving, backing up. Well, a couple of days? Son-in-law, not so much, I mean, he could back up, he could drive. He just didn't want to get out of bed.
He didn't want to get out of bed.
And me and him
I'm tired.
Oh, I forgot about working for Kevin. But anyway, we was working for a kid out of Detroit. And we loaded in Detroit going to LA or Sacramento 1. And we was coming across Interstate 80. And I had drove from Detroit into Nebraska. But I told him, I said, it's your turn to get up and drive. He said, well, let me sleep another little while longer. I'll get up just a little bit. I said, no problem. And we pulled into the TA at Alda, Nebraska. He still hadn't got up. So I thought, he'll get up now. So I got out, took the garden hose, opened up the side door on the sleeper. It didn't take him long to get up. He got up and drove then. I literally soaked him, and he says, that's fine, but he said, you got to sleep in that wet bed now. I flipped the mattress over, and we went on down the road.
Are they driving now?
He does.
Okay.
She wound up shortly after they started driving, she wound up getting pregnant. So he thought he had to go home with her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it was funny. It really was. It's like, you went through the school, it's paid for. She's the one that's pregnant. But he wound up getting a good job at home, driving a truck in the oil fields, and
great.
Yeah. So
He's
it wound up working out for him.
Right.
been doing the same thing now about 13 years, hauling crude oil down home.
Well, that's good.
So,
So it worked out then.
Yeah, it worked
Yeah.
out. I mean, I thought it was a waste of money at first, but he turned out to do something
He turned
anyway.
out to be a good guy.
He's a pretty good kid
good.
anyway.
Yeah.
And they're still together.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
And how many grandchildren?
2
Okay.
from them.
Uh-huh.
All total, we have 8, and number 9 is on the way.
Wow, congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why my hair turned platinum blonde.
So when you guys are in the truck together and you're driving team, does each person have their own role, or do you guys kind of just ad-lib it?
No, it's my rules, and
It's your rules.
yeah, it's
yes.
my rules,
Oh,
and she
yes,
learns to
of
live with them.
course.
He tries to drive the truck, no matter if he's the one behind the wheel or not.
Oh, okay.
Is that
You have a backseat driver.
Of course.
side seat driver? Yes. And it's
Side
like,
seat.
now
Mhm.
you're doing this wrong. Well, hush and let me do it, and I will figure it out. And it's not that I'm doing it wrong. I'm not doing it Jerry's way.
Mhm.
So if you know Jerry, you know how that is.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Angel.
So one of the things you guys like to do when you're out driving is stop and gamble at casinos.
Oh, I don't do casinos.
Is that your favorite thing to do while you're on the road? Is that how you relax?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
It gets you
The
out
only-
of the truck.
Uh-huh.
Because like I said, even though the truck is big, sometimes you just get antsy or on each other's nerves or something.
Mm-hmm.
Bad news from home, whatever. And you just need to get out of that truck.
And the casino's big enough she can go one side and I can go to the other.
Yeah. Her side's the winning side, though, Jerry.
No, let's not even go there now. It's funny though with Misty on our dispatch. She pulls up the map on my truck one day, and I said, "What's all these red dots?" She said, "Well, I've learned now whenever I can't find you or you won't answer your phone, She said, I just pull up the map and I look, if it matches to a red dot, she said, I know there's a casino there. So she has my truck mapped out at every casino that I've stopped at. But there's a couple that she don't have in her map because I have my ways of getting to that one.
Yeah.
We have one, I won't say where it's at, but we park somewhere and a friend of mine comes and picks us up and takes us over there and then brings us back. So my truck don't associate with that.
It doesn't ping with her red dots.
Yeah. You ever go sightseeing or?
Yeah, occasionally.
Sometimes we do.
Stop to see Rockies
like
once in a while.
when Jerry starts driving, I like to watch wildlife.
Uh-huh.
You know, see if I see a deer or a wild turkey or pronghorn.
Out in Wyoming
It was
at Elk
beautiful.
Mountain, we went through there one morning, and I found out later, I didn't know at the time, but they migrate through there every year in this one area, and there was thousands of elk on this mountain. And I mean, you couldn't see nothing but elk out there. And I got pictures of it. And I was talking to somebody that lived up in that area. And they said, oh, yeah, every year they migrate. And that's where they migrate to. And I didn't know that. But yeah, it was quite a sight to see that.
They were gorgeous.
Yeah, it's really neat, isn't it?
To see
Especially
it
at night
live.
when you see it.
It
right?
is.
It's just,
And they
This
were
was
coming-
daylight, so it was
They
perfect.
were coming over the top of this mountain at like a big animal waterfall. They were, and they just kept coming, and they were literally thousands there. And Drew woke me up because we had already swapped out, and I had went to bed, and he's like, "Get up, you got to see this." He pulled over to the side of the road, and I'm like, "What?" You know. And he said, I had to wake you up to see this because my buddies won't believe me if I tell them, but they'll believe you. So, yes.
We did. When we worked for New Way, down at Taft, the Praxair plant down there, it's got little channels that run through it. And there used to be an alligator down there. And this alligator would sit there. We could feed him, but I swear that alligator knew the sound of everybody's truck, the brakes, however, because if it was somebody that wouldn't feed him, he wouldn't come up. But if somebody would feed him, meant you set them brakes, he was right there. We fed him Pop-Tarts, we fed him watermelons, chickens, and they hauled that. They caught that gator 2 or 3 times, hauled him out. He come right back.
They named it. Him and some of his buddies, they called him Chomper.
Yeah, we called
really?
him Chomper.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was quite neat. We had one team down there, and they had dogs, which I had my dogs too. But they would let their dogs out inside the plant, which was a no-no. And one day that gator come up when one of their dogs was out, and she made a beeline to Praxair's front office and demanded that gator be removed because it was going to eat her dog. Well, that gator was not there to eat her dog. He was there, but she shouldn't have had her dog out the plant. We all told her that. And they ended up finally getting rid of him, but it wasn't but about 6 months later, there was another one that come in there, and he stayed there too. So it was always fun to go down there and play with him.
That area is built in the swamps.
Yeah, it is.
So
isn't it?
we were actually in their territory, you know, and so to them, I'm guessing it was a natural thing. To humans,
yeah,
it was, you know, it
Yeah.
could get unnerving. When Jerry would stop and feed the gator, I wouldn't get out of the truck.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
I'd stand right there. He'd come right up to me, right
He
to my
would
feet.
come within 3 foot of Jerry, and Jerry would feed
Yeah,
him,
isn't that
or
something?
part of a subway we didn't need, or something, you know. And oh, he loved it.
Had a place down in Seton, Texas, that we used to deliver acetylene to. And they never mowed the grass, ever. Never mowed the grass. And there was a couple times went back there to hook the trailer up and had to toss the rattlesnakes out. So I caught, 2 or 3 rattlesnakes down there when we was down there that was sitting right there where we're working at. And people, oh no, they call it, oh no, we're not delivering, there's a rattlesnake there. I just walk back and just grab him, throw him out of the way, and go about my business.
Oh my gosh.
But snakes don't bother me. As long as I can see them, we're good. But if I can't see them, then we have a problem.
That same team with the dogs and the gator.
Yeah.
They went to a delivery down in South Texas and found a family of skunks.
Oh, no kidding.
So, yes. So
same place.
it served them right.
Yeah, they wouldn't get out of the truck because the skunks were there. Well, skunks have a breeding season, and when you start seeing a lot of skunks, that's their breeding season. Skunks ain't naturally seen out a lot, but when they start breeding, you'll see them all the time. And this family of them was in this plant down there.
Oh my gosh.
They wouldn't get out and do nothing with it. I do my fishing and stuff when we're at home.
So how often do you get home?
Never.
Oh, yes.
Oh, we go home probably, I don't know, once a month, once every 3 weeks. Here lately we've been going home a little bit more, but I've had a lot.
And when you're home, do you guys spend time together or do you go do your own thing? You spend time together?
Oh, no, I go to the woods.
Well, we go to the casino and...
Yeah, we go to the casino when we're at home, too.
Yes.
We go to Shreveport quite a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have a lake behind our house, so sometimes we go fishing, but we haven't been fishing all year.
We haven't been fishing twice this year out there, but
yeah.
I got a chair sitting at the back of the house, and I sit and look out through the woods because people will come in, crawl over the fence to get into the lake to go fishing. And we went down there one day. There was a couple of guys down there fishing, and I run them off. And while you run them off, here comes 4 more out of the woods. They'd been back around the corner where I couldn't even see them. Becky'd say, "One of these days, you're going to run somebody off, and they're going to catch you over there by yourself."
There was enough of them they could have ganged up on him, beat him up, and
you
left him for dead or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Who watches your home while you're gone?
Used to the neighbor guy did, but now my oldest daughter's moved down there, so she stays there more than I do. So basically I bought a house for my daughter to live in. We just stay there as guests.
We just visit.
Are you guys going to keep driving for a while? What's your long-term plans?
I'm going to retire.
Good Lord,
next
really?
week.
Yeah?
I've got to get my car paid off
Okay.
first before and then I'd like to retire.
Okay.
Yes.
So you
I've
guys
got
talk
another
about that?
3
or-
years anyway.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like tinkering with my old car,
Uh-huh.
which was a project deal between me and my uncle. And he just passed away here, a couple 3 weeks ago. And now his wife's wanting to sell the car. So we're trying to come to a happy medium on this deal.
Okay.
It's
So,
like a 1932 Ford Coupe.
Wow.
Sport Coupe.
sport coupe.
Mm-hmm.
With a rumble seat.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I went all the way.
Very
I went
good
all
shape.
the way to La Grande, Oregon, and got that car for him, and brought it down there because he was retired. He wanted something to tinker with, so we went in on this car together. And here, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, before he passed, his wife, he had his wife convinced that he'd give $28,000 for this car. Yeah, I just looked at her and laughed, and no, he didn't give no $28,000 for that car. I know what he gave for that car because I went and got it. So now I was trying to convince her to what that car is actually worth and what she thinks it's worth.
So my last question is, you guys drive with your dogs?
Yeah.
Dogs? How many dogs we got in the truck?
We have
3.
Three right
They're
now.
at home on vacation right now. It's vet time for them, so they're visiting the
So your
doc.
daughter keeps track of
She takes care of them when they get to go to the vet. I just drop them off. the last time I was home. So when we go back, we'll load them back up and they'll go again.
And how many? And what kind are they?
2 Chihuahuas
Okay.
and 1 weenie dog, long-haired weenie dog.
That's right.
And all of them has been, well, the weenie dog, we got her out in Eloy, Arizona. Somebody had dumped her in the desert. And when that was Rusty. That was Rusty. Never mind. Rusty gone
Rusty
now.
passed away.
But the one we got now, we was home. Oh God, it's probably been a year ago.
Snowstorm. No.
It was before the snowstorm.
Before
But
the
anyway, we come home from the casino at 2:00 in the morning. Here's this dog in my driveway, kept chasing the pickup, trying to back in the driveway. So wouldn't come to me, but my daughter went out and caught her. Brought her in the house, 3:00 in the morning. I have to give a dog a bath. Next morning, I'm sitting there drinking my coffee, and this dog kept looking in the door, house. Where'd that dog come from? So when I tried to catch it, the dog would take off. I go back, sit down, so I drink my coffee, hear this little head would pop up, start looking around. I go try to catch it, gone again. About the 3rd time, I finally just slammed the door. I said, I ain't watching this dog again. Daughter walks out 5 inches, comes back, and look what I got, Dad. So now we've got 2 stray dogs that showed up.
She was looking for her buddy that we already
Which,
had.
we brought the other one that night in and get a bath at 3 in the morning. So this one was looking for its sidekick. And I told Becky, I said, there's no way I'm keeping both of these dogs. So the other one, I found a lady that wanted it. And so she took it, and this dog's spoiled. So now we ended up with the weenie dog. But this weenie dog she's a character. Then I've got my little Chihuahua that come from a lady who had passed away, and her daughter had got it. She didn't want it. And this dog you couldn't do nothing with her when we first got her. And we was sitting in a motel one night and sitting there, and all of a sudden she just sits back on her haunches and starts taking her front paws like she's begging. After that, and now that everything that dog does sits on when it wants something, it sits back and just.
She almost looked like Silver, the Lone Ranger horse.
Okay.
When it rears up and its front paws are off the ground, and that's what she looked like.
Yeah.
When she does that. She's so cute.
We got Jake. Which is our male Chihuahua. He will talk to you. You can actually understand him. He will sit and tell you he loves you, and you can hear him plain as day. Plain as day. You get to talking to him, and he'll just carry a conversation with this dog. But we've had him now 10 years, 9 years.
Long time.
Yeah, we got him. He comes from a lady that kept falling, and they went down, and she had like 25 or 30 dogs in this house.
Chihuahuas.
Yes. And this one was kind of special to her daughter and son-in-law. So he asked us, he said, well, you guys had just lost one of yours. So he says, I want this dog to go to a good home. And we've had him ever since, but he goes where I go. If we go somewhere, he's got to go. If it was a way he could go to the casino, he'd go too. But, and it's so amusing just to watch them.
They're all spoiled. They all have their own personalities. They're like people.
They are.
And then in a way, they're like your kids.
Yeah.
All my kids are grown and gone, and they're like your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just out of curiosity, this is my own question. Who decides where you're going to go to work? Is it a joint decision? Is that what it is?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's my decision. Whatever I say.
Pretty much. He'll discuss it with me, but he makes the final day. He knows we're gonna go. We're gonna run teams. Whoever he picked, but he'll sit there and tell me the advantages.
Okay.
Of going here and doing this, and I heard nothing but good things, and talked me into it.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's kind of a joint decision, but
Yeah, but more mine than hers.
Yeah. It's hard, you know.
Yeah, it is.
I have to tell you, I could never run team with somebody. I just think it'd be really
Oh,
difficult
you
to
get
be.
used to it.
Well,
You get used to it.
but
You
on the
just
flip
ignore
side,
it.
right? You always have your best friend with you, right?
I didn't say anything about best
Yes.
friends.
Well,
right now.
You may not, but I think you can tell.
You do. You always. Like I get up sometimes when we have the dogs in the truck, and I'll talk to Jerry, and he was like, "Why do you get up like that?" And I'm like, "I could talk to the dogs, but they can't talk back. You know, you're in here, talk back to me. You
Yeah.
know, it's something.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you just need that human voice.
Right.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and a dog can't do that.
We had
So.
one dog, and it's so funny because, I mean, there's times like you get stuck in traffic jams, you can't get out nowhere to let the dogs go. So we always carry these little doggy, I call them doggy diapers, that you put on the floor so if they have to go, they got a place to go. Yeah.
If you don't have time to stop, they're not going to make a mess on the floor.
Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
just roll them up, throw them in the garbage, and away we go. But we had one dog, and this dog and me was like two peas in a pod. And this dog hated Becky. And Becky, every time
No. When I would get onto her,
she would get onto this dog, and this dog would just give her this go to hell look, you know. And one day we're going down the road, and Becky wakes up. Dog's laying over on the floor. I mean, the dog didn't do nothing wrong, to my satisfaction, but
that you knew of.
that I knew of. But when Becky come up out of bed, all I heard was this scream with words that, you know, because I can't say on here. And I said, "What's the matter?" She says, "That dog went to the bathroom right where my feet come out of bed."
Right where I step off the
And
bed.
I thought, okay.
She knew.
She knew this
She
dog, I swear, a dog has radar, and they know exactly where you're going to come out of bed, where your feet's going to be. And that's the only place that dog went to on that diaper, knowing where Becky's feet was going to come out of that bed.
But if she was mad at Jerry,
Uh-huh.
she would poop up by the gas pedal
Or the
Uh-huh.
clutch pedal.
or the clutch pedal.
One of the two.
So, and it was, you know, you don't notice it unless you know it's there to
Uh-huh.
clean it up. But she would do it there so Jerry would step in it. So we knew, depending on where she would poop, who she was mad at. Yes.
We had that dog for, 14 years, you know, and
16.
16.
Oh,
16.
You could always tell who she
We
was
did
mad
keep
at.
her around even after
I guess
stepping
so,
in
right?
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was just hilarious the way she done
She was-
things.
And she was so proud. I don't know. She would have her nose up in the air like she was worth $1 million.
Yeah.
She was. And she would not necessarily go running around like a chicken with her head off, just getting out of the truck and getting the
Uh-huh.
exercise. She would walk around regally like she owned everything and anything, and
Yeah.
she had such an attitude.
Hmm.
She
Yeah,
was.
She did.
They all have.
They've all
Their
got
own
their own
personality.
personality.
Absolutely.
Every one of them.
Absolutely.
They have their own
Yeah.
personality.
They do.
Yeah.
But most all the dogs that we've had over the years, we've either found them abandoned out in deserts or at truck stops,
Rescued them.
or somebody
Mhm.
passed away and the family members didn't want them. But they're just, they know that it's like they know everything you're doing of taking them in. And I used to have the one that we found out in Arizona that's passed on now. She would sit and I would have her on one side of the recliner. The other ones would be on this side of the recliner. And all somebody had to do was walk in front of my chair and just smack me on the foot. And this dog would just stand at guard, hair standing on end. You mess with that chair.
She would be ready to tear somebody a new one. Just thumping him on the foot when he walked by.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do that. We figured out.
Son-in-law did that one day. He thought he was going to be wise. He come in.
But she was appreciative.
I was asleep. The dog
got her out of Arizona. We got her out of the heat. She had been 2 or 3 days without food and decent water.
Yeah.
It was outside of a truck wash, so all she had was the recycled water that was dripping off the trucks. And she was scared to death. Yeah. She had walked so far. She had no toenails.
Wow.
The dogs always have a claw, toenails sticking out.
Yeah.
Wherever she had come from, she had walked so far that she had none left. Except for what was past the clipping point. So she came a long ways. Mm-hmm. But
we had the ones.
She would have died had we not.
Yeah. We had
that heat.
We had 3 of them. I can't remember which 3 it was. But it's when 2 of the grandkids were small and they wanted to stay all night. And son-in-law was coming over to go fishing the next morning. And he walked in and he'd come in the house. It was like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning.
Early.
and they was his kids, that's staying with us. And they'd made a pallet on the floor, and these dogs had slept around them. And he went to touch one of them kids, and them dogs tore him apart at 4 in the morning. He said, "Man, I can't go see my own kids at 4 in the morning."
They're mine.
But the dogs just have their own way that they do things. Truck.
We never had to worry about our grandkids.
I can throw them in the truck, and as long as I'm in that truck, anybody can get in it. If you get out of that truck and mechanic goes get in or something, they ain't getting in it.
They will literally get in the seat and watch out the windows,
Ain't nobody coming in.
Nobody's going to open that door.
Yeah.
They may not be big enough to do bodily harm, but they got little yippers on them, and somebody will pay attention that there's somebody in trouble. We used to ride them off as guard dogs when we were on rocks. They were security.
Yeah, security.
So we would shots, water, dog beds, vet bills.
Another trick of the trade, huh?
That's it.
Yeah. Yes. Another trick of the trade.
I told you I kept everything.
We've got to be
literally everything.
We've got to be like Honest Joe now.
We did. Yes.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys being here today. I appreciate you guys sharing your lives with us and your stories. And guess it's time we get back to work.
Yes.
You gotta go back to work now?
Yes.
Yes, dear, you have to work.
Well, that wraps up this episode of Driver Stories. If you like the podcast, be sure to download and subscribe on all your favorite podcast apps. If you want more information about me or LGT, visit our website at lgttransport.com. Follow us on social media where we post new content every day. And stay tuned for the next episode coming next month.